Thank you all for coming. Here's another huge show. We have a lot of people that have 21 people waiting in there. And waiting room. So we should have a nice combination. Thank you. And we'll probably begin in about 5, say some words like that. There it is. Right.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Chicago Poetry Festival brought to you by Poetry Global Network. And today we are going to be kick-starting this festival at Afterwords Bookstore as we bring you Afterwards, a hybrid poetry showcase. And today we are going to be having a purveyor from Chicago, a poet, chancellor of the Poetry Academy, and a lover of words. Let us all welcome on stage as our host, we have Mr. Mark Fishbein.
Working, by the way, huh? I think we might as well record, but anyway, well, welcome everybody, friends, poets, people of Chicago, and people of the world. And welcome to the Afterwords poetry reading here, presented by the Poetry Global Network. And thank you, Beverly, who's behind in the store, who's offered this magnificent space and time, and to Cal and Don, and to Mickey, who helped out with technical stuff here, and all the setups. Thank you first for helping us put this event on. This is our 4th year doing the event, and we have this great screen monitor this year to enhance the sound. Before we were using a projector on that screen. It's a little awkward. It's really wonderful to have equipment. So happy about it. And we'll have 14 different readers that will be featured here tonight. Several on Zoom, so here in person, of course. And we'll keep on switching on so you'll see the performers large on the screen, that they'll be able to see you. And we'll have an open mic afterwards for a poet who might want to read as well. And then there'll be a continuing one for all Zoom poets. There'll be a extended open mic that'll go on afterwards. And that can go on for as long as there are readers. So, Nick, have you had anything you'd like to read in that open mic? Please leave your name in the chat, and Con will take it up. And after any questions that you might have during the meeting, and please put comments in the chat as well. It's always welcome to see. You know, many cities, actually most major cities, have a poetry festival, but Chicago, the city of poetry, does not. So until now, I asked recently the starter of the one that started the Nottingham Poetry Festival in London, which is 16 years old. How do you start a poetry festival? And he said, well, you just do it, just declare yourself a poetry festival and make it happen. So that's what we're going to try to do. And our idea is to connect poetry in the world, Chicago, to the world. For in poetry, we are the world. We are one world, one poets. And that's our concept, to make Chicago a poetry festival, a center. Next year, we'll probably have a full weekend. We almost got it this year, but next year we'll definitely have it. It will be probably a Friday event here, a Saturday event, which will be a slam event for high school students to get youth involved, and Sunday we're going to have a big open mic as well. And we also have an open mic for anybody out there in Zoom world or here that wants to join. It's Sunday. It's called Bottoms Up, and it's a special Chicago version. And we host CP Mays, our award-winning slam artist, fantastic host. And hopefully you can join us then too for some more poetry. So I guess we'll continue now. I think we're ready to go. We all have your emails here to join the Poetry Global Network. If you sign in, you have it already. And tonight's theme forewarning, depending on where you are on the planet, is immigration, due to the current state of the world. But the poets were not obligated to include that in their presentations. So let's begin
On
with
the poetry thing, which Mark's going on and on introducing things to them.
I'm sorry? Okay, so let us begin here. I am honored to introduce our first poet. Our first is Ariana Multa. Ariana is a Chicago-based poet, writer, and elementary school teacher. She studied at Bates College and at the campus right there, and got a master's degree from Columbia College, Chicago, which I also did. Her work is deeply influenced by the landscapes of Vermont, Chicago, and history belonging to Multa's writing has appeared in Verity, LA, Poet's Choice, Lucky Jefferson, Cold Village, and What Brought Beast. She is the author of 2 collections, Tracing the Curve, Atmosphere Press, and I've been meaning to tell you in 2023. She lives in Chicago with her husband and 2 daughters.
Thank you. Thanks for being here, everyone. Thank you, Mark. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for picking a theme. Where's a good spot? This is good. So the theme is immigration, and I teach 3rd grade in Lincoln Park, and we were told to cancel recess today because ICE was in the neighborhood. So it's very real, it's very present. And then all the teachers were surrounding the school at the end of the day just to make sure families would have safe passage. And so I appreciate you bringing the theme to the forefront. The first poem is called Bill Maher Said. Bill Maher said it's migrant season. He lives in California where the avocados don't pick themselves, dust covered, thick skinned. His microphone doesn't have a pit for him to fall into in the night where he would have to huddle with a brother, a sweaty stranger from further south. The screen he's on saves him from having to ride in a truck's bed, laying down for days, and Orion would be up above, his belt, those stars pointing toward the only option, a politicized, insecure border that traces and erases, patrolled by recent graduates, no other option, no name other than cages, because anything that locks keeps you in and out at the same time. It would be a mistake not to note that in Chicago today, a worker stepped aside, made way for my running dog and I, as he waited for the first bus of the morning, the earliest Sunday shift, because work has no borders, no lines in the dust when families left behind, waiting for an envelope of money. I smile, of course, unsure why there's a pit in my stomach.
No.
This one's more recent, and I often get inspired just by my early morning walks by the lake with our dog in our nice neighborhood of Lakeview. But it's not without images that provoke me, including this one of a person laying in the doorway of the church. It's called Night Stain. Nobody plans this. Sleeping in a doorway, familiar concrete, further from a dream than anything. Nobody sees you, this yawning city turning its head, far from belonging. You look to the corner as if help waits there, passing you off to someone else, their burden. You can only imagine the taste of hunger this wakeful morning, the concrete dust, each particle like a brief, indifferent blessing, no guessing why you chose this church, a godless night. Is it me carrying the weight heavier than winter, that cruel wind, the unseen, the night pressing against your back, glass eyes looking down as if his body were a stain? Guilt whispers louder than that church bell, those uninhabited hours. So those were my immigration poems. This one is more about loss. And it again uses the lake really as my inspiration. It's called Nothing Back. She knew that high tides always became low and nothing lasts the way it's supposed to, because it's not supposed to. That chapter you wish wouldn't end, paper pages like laughter leaving her ears empty. No sequel, no series on the shelf. She sees her silhouetted at sunrise, orange hues blanketed, no sign of a storm, no waters wild, just reflections glassy, shadowless, no jagged edges. But when she looked at the sand behind her, seeing only her prints, she knew something was eroding, washing away. So she checked old messages written in the sky, sentences caught in the amber glow. Silent as the morning, as hard as it was to swallow, she knew that hearing nothing back was the closure she was seeking. And maybe this was meant to last as long as only as long as the sunrise, and she outgrew her like a season, those wasted waves. Never hurry. Sometimes all you see in Chicago are bodies, not the bee-flocked geese in sweet innocent flight, but bodies in the sand, chrysalis sheet-wrapped tight, not the maple seeped in red that glows and falls late dawn, but faded crimson shoes, laces lifeless lying concrete flat, no waves and shades of gray will catch her eye along the shoreline. Just doorway dormitories, cardboard mattresses, stacked like bulldozed plans, piled, haphazard landing. No gentle breeze will distract you into thinking of beauty pure, for benches become bedrooms bare, the soot, the smear, the bodies tell the story. So I have two left, and thank you so much for this generous time. My father is a poet, and we work closely together, which is such a blessing. He gave a reading earlier this week, and he read a poem about my teaching. So I wanted to read a poem that was very much inspired by my father, Gary Margolis, who lives in Vermont, my mom, Wendy, and they're here watching. This poem is about people who care so much that it makes them anxious. It's called The Uncertain Truth. Do you know how special it is to care as much as you do? To have thought through every possible puddle you could step in, see imaginary storms in the distance, swirling you into a cyclone of questions. The what if of tomorrow in the way of today, the wanting so badly for everything to work out. And the only real way to stop worrying so much would be to stop caring so deeply for your loved ones. Tie them each up into a box, a perfect ribbon, where maybe then they would forever be safe, because I know you're tired. But in the same way that it has to rain sometimes, you have to know that there's nothing wrong with staying inside and asking all of your questions into the quiet air. Each raindrop might erase all of the reasons why not to step out, because isn't it beautiful to want the most out of every single day so genuinely that you worry it isn't going to happen? Being an anxious person is being so thoughtful it makes you sick. And maybe the facts don't matter. Those odds that have always been in your favor in a puddle on the floor. So this last poem was from my first collection, which was very much written during COVID. Although this is not a COVID-y poem, it was also some of those, for me, troublesome years with our first round with our current president. And so this poem mentions my mom, who I have to say never changed her last name and has always really inspired me along the lines of feminism. So this one's for her. Dear Mom, I heard a man say the game had been figured out, hijacked, hacked of hope, circumvented with clicks, tricks of the trade that will no doubt invade. I heard another man say it was true that top dogs found weak blogs, weak markets, and weaker minds to trick, to add smoke to mirrors, but nothing's clearer to me. Rules are made to protect the inventors of the game. And had founding fathers been founding mothers, colleges would never be electoral. True votes counted, collected, mounted for the public to breathe in. And out would go the age of cheating, hiding the old maid under the rug, blindfolding one's opponent past the point of power. When Nike stood in Athena's outstretched hand, her laurel wreath around her neck, she knew it was her who would keep her wings, not to be shed. With those wings came flight, reins tightly gripped, not slipped. No sleight of hand to misunderstand between souls. A conversation, a roundtable talk with lost languages, only spoken out of truth, commitment, no equipment needed, a single chariot stampede, wings spread, may be the light that's missing this country's vitamin D. And mom, to you who kept your name, your laurel crown, I say we take these reins.
Thank you. Our next two poets are going to be on Zoom. Ina Chelsea Yanga is next. She's a Filipino poet. The Philippines at crazy hour in the morning, as is co-host doing. Her works have been published in The Ugly Writers, Third Irish Zone, Manzano Mountain Review, Passion Fruit Reviews, and others. She's currently one of the directors and editor-in-chief in the literary department of San Pedro Arts Collective, an art group that is currently active in her homeland. She's 27 years old and has been writing since she's been 16. So I guess you put it in 10,000 hours. And Chelsea Yanga.
Hello, I'm Chelsea Yanga. Today I prepared two poems. The first poem I'm gonna read, I wrote it around 2020 in the era of COVID. Like the reader before, it is not very COVID, but it does represent the the mind around that time. Because of course we were all inside. As someone who loves going outside, as someone who's very extroverted, I was forced to stay inside. So I can say that the mind dwindled a little bit. So this is the first poem. The title is House That Breathes. This was published in Manzano Mountain around, I think that was the winter of 2023. Okay. House That Breathes. There are dents on the wooden and on the winding stairs that would collapse under our weight. Our family's name carved on the side of the banister, like tally marks in a jail cell. But the room where we rarely gather, still pristine. Past an altar smelling of sweet, nostalgic jasmines. There's a rolled carpet next to it, next to a door that has never opened. This is a house that breathes. Its organs rot. Arcadian built, but impossible in the way it stretches from the inside. This is a house that despises the living. A house that was built by hand should not live without humanity. But then again, this is made with brimstone, with something we cannot possibly comprehend. This house breathes, and this house suffocates. And our family's name forever on its skin by a knife from my mother's mother. Thank you. that this next poem, I wrote this one specifically for this event. I had a blast writing this actually. Because from the span, I mean from the timeline between finding out that I'm gonna be joining this festival, a lot has happened to me. For one, I became homeless for an entire night. I lived here in the cafe, and then I became sick. So yeah, I think you can still hear it from my voice, kind of scratchy. But from all of that, out came this poem. I love it. The title is The Apostle of Sunday Morning. There are no predecessors here, only summer afternoons as a child. Playing hopscotch on the washed out tiles of the plaza, where the tiles aren't tiles but landmarks. Late mornings at Palenque, leaving early when the price outweighs the hunger. The plastic bags we carry digs into the flesh of my palm, and my father grips the other the only way fathers can. Apostle Parish Looms, Becco. Sunday mornings, and the scent of Sampaguita grabs us by the collar, and Apostle rears her beauty. Newly polished shoes, failing to seek purchase on her marbled floors, and the stoops here catches light, holds day-old blessed water inside its fading shell. I remember the smell of burning candles, the candelabra, more wax than iron, dripping on its sides. The love of a daughter who once held prayers tightly between palms. The careful use of our Father who art in heaven. Thank you. So, yeah. I prepared only 2 points today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for getting up so early in the morning. And looking so-
Yeah, actually, I arrived here around almost 5 a.m.
I know. That woman is so fresh. Thank you for reading. Appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, that poet, Lee Ellen, sorry, is a writer, visual artist, performing, a performer living in the UK. He's artist living at various times, a journalist, political advisor, refugee coordinator, and fine art writer and consultant. He's written work and appeared in a wide variety of publications in the UK, US, Europe, and in Asia. He's also exhibited a number of solo and joint visual art exhibitions performing with jazz musicians throughout the UK. Introducing VLA.
Thank you. Hello, Chicago. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but that's Lee's artwork behind him.
I was going to read 2 poems for you. One's quite long. So the first one is called Highwayman. That's got nothing whatsoever to do with Highwayman, but it's a good title. Talk to me of highwaymen, of knights and pirate kings, of peregrines and seraphins, peacocks in their finery, and doves with golden wings. Talk to me of smugglers, of soldiers wearied of the fight, of sailors too long upon the ocean, pyres burning on the hillside, and things that go bump in the night. Talk to me in whispers, talk to me in screams of love and lost tomorrows, the men who stole your future and the life that ate your dreams. Talk to me of monsters, of angels dancing on a pin, and matricide and genocide, children lost beneath the rubble, and wars that only death can win. Talk to me of famine, of pestilence and flood, of avarice and cowardice, the abused, reborn abusers, and ghosts that linger in the blood. Talk to me of warriors, of Armageddon and Ragnarok, of horsemen at our borders, orphans haunting graveyards, and things that crumble, bleed, and crack. Talk to me of tomorrow, of what will flourish and remain, of cowards, fools, and charlatans, blind dancers on the precipice, and worlds where rats and roaches reign. Talk to me of highwaymen, of smugglers, sharks and thieves, of betrayers and soothsayers, sparrows, devouring ravens, and the falling of the leaves. Thank you. This next one is called The Hunger Ball. Famine loves his sister drought, whispers in the sand, hand in hand as she walks out. She cannot see or hear or feel. Men roll the dice, spin the wheel, always the arrow, never the bow. Drags slow her skirt across the land, wilts the barley and the rye, buzzards fly and cattle fall. Hunger soon will claim us all. Let vulture's sword and fate's command, war will be our final shroud. Sing loud the song of Cain and Abel. There is no law except survival. Mother's breast runs dry. The hand that rocks the cradle, now barren as the barren land. No bread upon the table. Famine heeds his sister's call, strides fast the blistered earth. A hunger ball he must prepare. Let cards be dealt and wheels be spun, the banquet hall surveyed. Made welcome in the jackal's lair, the spousal dance begun. Starvation mounts the marriage throne, each hungry guest his gown caress, a bridal wreath to share. Resplendent in her wedding dress, behold the virgin bride, a withered rose to bind her hair, the marriage band so near at hand. The human tide parade. Dead widows haunt the slaughter ground, surround the orphan maid, the fatal kiss not on her cheek, her spousal dance delayed. Pure daughter of the blighted earth, belly full of sand, the land now drained of hope and mirth, not worth so the oil that you can't eat, no deliverance at hand. Fields are turned to blood and dust, the banker and the Arab king counting silver, counting gold, scarce behold or even care. But famine's bride will soon be wed, death's spousal ring to wear. To thy God's command that she eat sand, swallow dirt and swallow stone, the rich won't save what the rich don't own. Night has come to steal the sun, the killing floor, she walks alone. Her only chance to starve or run as fast as she is able, heed the jackal's roar, dream the dream of hope and fable. Hunger is her fatal sin. Seek shelter on a distant shore. Sweet daughter of the fertile band, belly full of corn, a sister from a blighted land, fleeing famine, fleeing war. Unto us this child is born. Stay your eyes upon the shore. She comes in sorrow, comes in hope, not to borrow, not to steal, pilgrim to a land of hope and fable. Soft breath upon your rose-kissed cheek, back pressed hard against the wheel. She bleeds the blood old sisters bleed. Heed her warning call. Make her welcome at your table. Bid your gods have mercy on her soul. Tender flesh and brittle bone, all she's seeking is a chance to clasp a sister by the hand and dance the harvest home. Not my sister, not my kin, not like me, she can't come in. Sowers reap what they have sown. Hunger is a mortal sin. What's mine is mine and mine alone. Her bridal gown I will not wear, her spousal ring not mine to own. No withered rose to bind my hair. God hates the poor for being weak. So wrap her tight with greed and lies. Still her mouth, close her eyes, her cries unheard, if she can't speak. Tomorrow's dance stirs in the sand. I hear the jackal's call. Famine stalks my fertile land, prepares a hunger ball. The spousal band surveys my hand. A bridal gown I wear. Eagle glides on broken wings, bolts loosen on the stable door. Blackbirds lose the will to sing. Horsemen sniff the air. Resplendent in my wedding dress, I walk the killing floor. The slaughter ground lies all around. Dead roses bind my hair. The veil of truth grows ever thin. I watch it as it frays. Hunger comes, not if, but when. The rule of men has cursed us all. Our greed the earth betrays. Dread mares of night, my bridal maids, false prophets sing my praise. Starvation's kiss upon my lips, our marriage bands proclaim. The bleeding moon sleeps in my hand. All hail the end of days. All hail the end of days. Thank you for listening.
Wow. So nice to hear that narrative style of poetry. It's so rare today, so hard to do. Thank you for that really engaging narrative that you put together. And your voice, oh my, okay. Thank you. All right, next is live here is Julian Randall. Sorry. Julie is the author of Refuge University Bookstore, Killer Ramirez and the Escape from Zapa, all books for young readers, Killer Ramirez and the Curse of San Zeno, The Dead Don't Need Reminding, and The Chain Breakers, most other works. Come and join us. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Wow. Yeah, no, never get used to seeing myself on camera. Hi, everyone. Hi. Everybody able to hear me? Yeah. Cool. All right, bet. So, hi, everybody. My name is Julian Randall. And I'm gonna read some poems. Thank you so much, Mark, for inviting me. Thank you for the Chicago Poetry Festival. Yeah, as we know, the theme is at some level immigration. I am the descendant of Dominicans who were on the run from a dictatorship, and looks like we are getting back into the family business. So, abuela dice que Spilled salt goes over the shoulder. Porque no tenemos una país allí. Cuando we lived in Santo Domingo, we watched Trujillo spill 100 daughters onto the street. Y lo sigue de este. Recuerdas, the memory of a city turns you to salt. Está de Dios. This would have been your fatherland before men who were fathers took it apart con sus manos sucios. Por supuesto, los decidió we had to wash ourselves at home in order to survive. We flew so that su madre might be untouched. Sacrificio para sacrificio. Sangre por sangre. What else could we have done but taken the house spilling into bricks in front of us and sprinkle it into the ocean? El océano no hay azúcar. Salt is always hungry. Salt is what made the men forget their country had a name that was not the name of a man who gave every mirror his name, hijo. La sal está pequeña, pero the ocean will never hold your face so kindly. Y este is how men grow vain and forget to wash the blood from their hands before they hug their daughters. Okay. Very quick Dominican history lesson, possibly. Who here is familiar with the story of the Mirabal sisters? Just a quick show of hands. 5. Okay, cool. Don't spoil it for everyone else. But the 4 Mirabal sisters were like the heroes and leaders, founders of the Dominican resistance movement. 3 of them were summarily executed by the secret police, essentially Trujillo's version of ICE. They put their bodies back into the car, left them in the field, and pretended that they drove off a cliff. This is the Canefield testifies regarding the assassination of the Mirabal sisters. Well, es posible que I have learned to fear la luz. All of my saddest stories have the same beginning, ¿entiendes? One thing falls into another, and I am fallen into all the time. Men enter me like rain. Swing the moon in their hands until I'm mud. I suck their boots, beg them, tranquila se. It was an accident, mostly, to have lived this long. I regret the entry, but what choice did I have? Men shove their weapons inside, and only I ever think to call them bastard. All I have ever said has been blamed on the wind. Como una mariposa, I am beautiful because I am surrounded. Guapísima, I am cherished most by the blade. Yo soy la prima de la tormenta. What rages against me used to keep me alive, ¿entiendes? Es posible que every storm begets women. I am only what memories were buried in me, so I can't say what's buried elsewhere. Una país is only as good as the saddest acres of its deception, ¿entiendes? Nobody can tell you this better than La Tierra itself. That night, it rained. They dragged them off the road. El poder de la tormenta es el oscuro de los manos. I howled for a country. I'm mostly made of ghost stories and rumors. The men entered me, and what choice did I have but to suck their boots? And for this crime, they have only ever called me citizen. I tremble when the rain comes. De verdad, when the soldiers came back and mistook the headlights of the truck for lightning, the thunder for acres of batons. Okay, so as we know, we have been invaded, as we know, and maybe you are willing to admit, we are at war. Certainly the enemy is willing to admit that they are at war with us. So I have been thinking a lot about this June Jordan poem. This is a long one, so it's gonna be my last one. Thanks so much for y'all. Son of a bad. Quote, I must become a menace to my enemies. June Jordan. History only becomes more unmanageable the longer that it goes on. Not even America is safe from America. I'm singing from the intersection of the relevant centuries. I am doing something mean to what they have made. Consider, I am the last of the polite requests, last of the unsick earth, last of the ones who were stolen or who stole themselves. I know I cannot give you back your violence, only the promise of kudzu, oh, shelter that starves. I say want softly, but trust, I mean to kill the entire field. I am sung from the fault line in a national morality. I would tell you the story straight, but I have been too generous with my blood already. Suffice to say, I am the son of a plural, I legion. My name is a consequence because we are many. Archival erosion. I arrived bedecked and nasty. I arrived 808 whole songs with no lyrics. I want you to hear me. I am lush with fugitives. From a series of dirty black eternities, from a series of merciless summers, I ride, I ride, I ride, I write to unblood the soil. I bang a song unabashed in the silence between what ought to be and what happened. Taste what is sharp when you need most badly to remember me. I am telling you as directly as gravity allows, there are miles of threat, and I am one of them. When you hold the knife, observe it with your eyes, that tenderness that must have been plucked somewhere from someone. The blade beholds me in a way that briefly makes us cousins. Circumstance wets me across years and oceans. I gleam. I am a menace gowned by rumors. I'm your ghost story. You know which one. Which praise I am bad on both sides. You pressed me against the headstone, and I laughed, and war plan laughed as your house collapsed behind you. To unwish the tragedy is to unwish myself. And I have unwished myself for less. Despite my best efforts, I am the son of this concept too. Once there was a train. I wrote it even though I meant for it to wear me the end of history as I could change it. Instead, I live, draw each hotter breath on this planet, in this place, which I imagine will be the last to know when the war climaxes. Though to me, this is the only place it could have begun. I mistake a magnolia petal for the wing my great-grandfather could have been, and how long until all my dead are the same beauty. At my worst, I am begging the flood, superheated ancestral. I am trusting a strength I invented in a language that has taken me everywhere but home. I do not know what it is to truly want to survive. Only what it is to want to outlive, to want back what is owed, to outlast, oh majesty, oh knuckles knitting into the familiar. The end is whatever tenderness I might sow in the wake of my vengeance. From those acres of ungovernable grief, the horns rose like bows. Some notes tethered to the sky and others to the heat. The enemy is urgent with guilt, and in this history, a boy is blowing his notes on a cauterized landscape. I can see why everyone my father has ever loved was dressed like the moon. I'm the son of a bad man, but the song cracks where I would have had a father. Fine, I am fathered by the fire then, regardless, I am born. I am changing the you here. I am pivoting towards what some I love cannot follow. I leave the smoldering gate of a house in my wake. If you can follow here, where the unimaginable king survived, I name you bad. The oceans will stop short of wherever we stand, and our name is the living and the dead, for we are many, and what we are is a technology lost to the enemy. Oh, my tender legion. For you, I give my name to what we once called history or war or country when it saved us to faint worship of what was inflicted. If I have any allegiance left, I pledge it to the fugitives. What was sung on the way to what I cannot call hope, daughters, sons, children's consequences, survivals, bullets that missed, bullets that returned, miles of wings named then ourselves. History is truly dead. I am glad to spend what lies beyond the dominion of time with you. We rode a golden raft from an unstable idea to the other side of nation. We turned the river, and this is where it stopped. I am writing to you from a geography where we suffered a bad life and survived because we were battered. Praise. I go the field, which plays my parents' music. It is my song, it is the song where the boy says he is the son, and I am talking to my mother in this place she dreads and knocks pearls for. She worries, and yet she trusts. I am even badder than my daddy, and I am not always merciful. But I have reached the light, and what the news tells me is the end of time. In this language I call from the rays of today. I am loving everything. Ooh.
There, that, William. Yeah, it's tough being in Chicago right now. It's, oh, well, I would have a very good change on this. My next reader is Chris Moody Singh, PhD teacher and creative writing facilitator, has published poetry collections, short fictions, and had plays staged. His first novel, Margot and the White Yogi, coming in the UK, was commended in the Victoria Premier's Literary Awards, and his poetry collection, The Bearded Chameleon, was published in Austria and Singapore. Australian-born and a Sikh by choice, he lives in Punjab, managing a farm and sharing video poetry on YouTube. Talking Turban. Chris.
I'm here.
Okay.
Very nice to be back in Chicago. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. It was 2003 when I was last there, so it's a pleasure to be here with you virtually. Um, I'll come to the reason why I was in Chicago all way back then, and it's to do with Poetry Slam and Mark Smith. So I will share a poem about him at the end. But I want to talk about this immigration matter because it's affecting everybody in the world. It's not just something that we see a terrible travesties of, kind of things that are happening to American citizens, but we're seeing people being thrown out and returned to India. At the present time, actually, I'm in Singapore, which is a kind of benign police state, you could call it in a sense. So, and I'm a person, Australian born, Sikh by choice. So I'm a kind of migrant who went the other way. And I want to share with you a couple of excerpts from a novel about poets and poetry that I'm actually completing at the moment. And it's called Ghazalpur. For those who know, a ghazal is like a sonnet of the East. And it's really about this subject, immigration. Once we thought of it as guards and gates, but now it's basically databases and drones. This has changed to something totally different. Migrants, as we know, are being scanned like data. And this is all a rehearsal, I think, for the surveillance of citizens, the refugees becoming the rehearsal kind of dummy for the police state. So this novel is set in India. I'll get to it pretty fast. I'm just going to read a couple of short excerpts, which are also full of poetry. This is a place where a returnee comes back to a mythical city. This is a kind of magic realist novel where poets need permits and drones patrol the skyline. It's a pretty weird thing, but it's actually happening in places in India. And every breath is kind of data. So this is a place where art itself is actually being put on trial. So let's get to the first one. So here, our character, his name is Murik. So in Hindi and Punjabi and Urdu, Murik means fool. So he's like the fool of the court. And that's the name he has in this novel. And here he has to, he starts out by trying to go and get electricity put on, electricity connection. He finds that he has to go through the whole bureaucratic loop, and he's being told that he has to go and have a psych evaluation as part of that. So this is how he lands up at Sehetgarh, House of Well-Being. The corridor narrows. A sign points left. Annex C, Sehetgarh, House of Well-Being. He follows, feeling the measured silence tightening around him. A painted board soon appears ahead. The walls give off the faint smell of disinfectant over ink. Murik steps through. Dr. N. Panacea, clinical listener of the poetic mind, greets him with tired eyes. A clipboard and a weary smile. Welcome. No sudden rhyme schemes, please. You are just in time for group. The activity room is bare. A ring of floor cushions, a cardboard sign taped to the wall. Sharing, circle. Madness in meter. Welcome. No iambic containment. Poets sit like mendicants. One is wrapped in the thesaurus pages. They speak in turn, offering couplets like broken bones. I asked for the ceiling fan for news. It spun a lie. My shadows grown opinionated. It won't comply. The moon sent me spam again. I clicked too late. My mirror staged the coup. It's running the state. Just move myself over here a little bit. There we go. Murik listens. Murik listens, then is asked, and he is asked to share. He reads his ghazal. The system sucks. Can't click, can't knit with it. Round peg, square slot. I'm quite unfit for it. The family tree that let me branch away has split its trunk. No one can sit in it. The yellow cab and Asia jet trail said, go, look, then make some literature from it. Is life a tour, a cure? Is life a tour, a cure, or comic skit? And where's the script, the wit, who's written it? Do fate lines lead, or does the brain send mice to run the maze, these dim-wit days in it? Still banging hard on heaven's gate, Muruk? Your door's the floor. Sit still, submit to it. The room argues. Nurbija sneers, Tennyson scoffs, Bullanath defends, Ananya whispers solidarity. The circle bristles, then whitens under Dr. Panasia's hand. This is not a jury, Dr. Panasia says at last, signing the form, but a listening post. We have listened, flawed, human, alive. The rubber stamp blooms faintly in red. Psych poetic fitness verified. Muruk glances at the form. In faint grey, a note blinks. Emotive density high, unclassifiable yearning vectors. Recommend audit. Then the words vanish. The doctor doesn't look up. Even rhythm must be licensed here. Pulse, breath, cadence. Declared fit for release, pending cooling interval. The verdict lands like a smirk. Muruk understands they are granting him permission to breathe as though breath itself required clearance. The uncertainty stings. Frustrated, he drifts down a side stair that curls toward the service quarters, seeking air or escape. He is not sure which. So, there we have a little excerpt of a vision of, I think, police states that we're all, expecting to be coming to see us soon. This second and last piece, let me work it out here. Yep. Where have we gone? Okay, here we go. So in 2003, I came to study Poetry Slam, and I was fortunate to stay with Mark Smith, the founder of Poetry Slam. I mean, Chicago is the kind of original home of Poetry Slam. I brought it back to Singapore, and we were the first founders of Poetry Slam in Asia. So this is a kind of tribute to him and to poetry in this performative form. Poetry is a big tent, and performance is necessary. And here we go. I say with him, this is a description of that time. And he was living nearby, I think in Lincoln Park. I hear him shower, shave, then sit before a living room altar, taking time out from Gunland, Chicago. He has placed a marble Buddha, dream catcher, eagle feathers, and wish stones from Lake Michigan. I, the sleeping bag house guest from Southeast Asia, rise each morning quiet as a ghost and tiptoe to the kitchen, imagining Slam Pappy's inner spiel to the slam god. Bodhisattva of stray poets, Big Daddy-o, you brought me from down luck Southside Chicago. Give me patience to welcome the clumsy virgin poets and call back each week those boring poet fossils slamming old standby poems year in, year out. I've done my part, boat lord, making poetry a contact sport, hurled from a bar top for thy public sake. Like any good house guest, I have brewed the coffee, black as crude. I pass him a cup, then listen in to Carl Sandburg, E. Cummings, Emily Dickinson, a dollop of Homer. Overheard from the front room, followed by his own brash repertoire of kiss it, kick it, scream it verse to put Stallion Buck back into the sacrament of poetry. Yes, I crawled on all fours along barroom floors to make my words flesh, then leapt under an imaginary high wire. We, the apes of spoken word, keep picking at our fleas at the Poetry Slam. 3 rounds of the Rattlesnake Circus, a battle of curses and comedy and roses, famous from Chicago to Singapore to Slamburg. I have faced off with the pundits on Talkback TV at festival forums. I have played the bad boy, the bastardizer of tradition. I have led the poetry wars, risen, fallen, fallen, and risen. I am a hard-working bard. Lord, I have done my part. This is his shtick, an old spiel pulled down from bookshelf classics, self-learned, telling the canon and styled into slam speak. Perhaps this is his zen, and beyond my ken. Yet I too now have a yen to read the dregs of my own coffee cup heart, to spruik and joke, roll my eyes or rebuke, to break through and wake the spectator naga slumbering in the South China Sea. Yes, I have drunk down some of the percolated motor oil chi of Chi Town. In this stormy, husky, brawling city of big shoulders, yelling its gregarious yawl, fierce as a dog with a tongue, lapping for action, howling next door in the living room, inside the cave of wall-to-wall dead living poets, here beside the third coast, breaking the fourth wall of a theatrical moment called America, this fine slam morning. Thank you very much.
Great advice there. Good luck with your book. I'm looking for it. Well, thanks for the presentation, Chris. Good to see you again. Okay.
Thanks, Mark, and all the best to everybody.
Ready. And our next poet, Carrie Butts, will be on Zoom as well. So, Carrie Cox is a Seattle poet who has been published online, Whispers and Shouts, Origami Condom, and on the cusp of earning recognition from Anthology Magazine, released 3 poetry collections, Rainbow Karma, A Month of Sundays, and Imagined Histories. In 2007, she recorded a spoken word CD with musicians in Australia, blending poetry with music. She served as literary arts director of the Seattle Erotic Arts Festival and co-founded Floating Mountain Poets, while also exploring poetry as a healing practice. Carrie Cox.
Thank you so much, Mark. Thanks, everybody. Hello from rainy Seattle. Just checking in here for the first time. Gotta say thank you to Mark for hosting this beautiful event. And I like the topic, immigration. It's kind of a buzzword right now, so I looked it up just to see the literary definition. And it's basically just moving to live in a foreign country. And I mean, who can't relate to having to live somewhere foreign, even if it might have been your childhood home or your body as it changed through your life and became so foreign to you, or a person that you loved that changed over time. So I think it's just a very relatable idea of migration and immigration. I'm Irish and Italian in my roots of immigrants, and I'm going to read some poems for you tonight. The first one is called Book Burning Babies, all one word. Book burning babies or my breath, asking anyone to fill the holes ants make, saving all my money, bereaved, dollar faces folded. I conscientiously object to art and anger and dirty fingernails. I manicure my own mind, pretty polish and smooth edges. I parade like a sidewalk straight down Main Street, asking anyone to define screwdriver without using the word screw. It doesn't take a second guess to freckle the solstice stains, touched up teenagers, glasses bigger than eyes, argue that cars are faster, but who can afford that kind of speed? Finger licking scars, crescent crammed against tongue until the shaking under blankets chatters teeth, asking anyone for more of the wrong sounds amplified like star noise polluting a blank black damage done and undone, swearing like Roman calendar gods, bathing like whales in warm air. tired of the pressure of salt screens, gravity's slave, and loved, broken, strung back together, forged and fondled, doll eyes, dream conversations muddled and pie-shaped cooling on windowsills. Mother stirs and writes letters asking anyone to fly a flag with blue and white strips and red stars. Father prays like an atheist, mumbling artichoke layers, fingers his belt with his itchy trigger finger below the dinner table littered with silence. August fluttered like remnants of fireworks on baby blue backdrop, a tunnel of torn up tickets from a Coney Island summer, cotton candy, sticky skin, smiles unbuttoned like crisp shirts, loud sleeves worn white and wrinkled from sitting in the same place for so long, thinking fast and in circles, pleading with Jerusalem for bread and water, for sandals and a reason to trust in a history told wrong. This wine will warp your face and give you dust under your eyelids that can't ever slide free. A stranger will dine at your bedside, keeping you awake. Your clothes will wander without you asking anyone what it feels like to be worn, not caring that you are naked and sometimes cold. Store-bought distance surrounds your neck, a scarf stolen, a diamond uncarved and black as coal. Danger lumped up in the back of a throat, resting like a snake, bush struck and flicking a forked lesson. Battery acid and daisy petals strewn down the driveway, asking anyone if he loves me or not. Hopscotch crimes kicking like a drum, tossing stones in squares so you know where not to go. And the harmonica drone of a mosquito reminds you of thirst, while church steeple legends pull your feet to stand and clap to a song older than your hurt, to yell with a voice stronger than your hate, captured by a love-struck circle drawn in sand, mentioned like the letter Z, inappropriately and mispronounced as often as an exotic name. The oil from midnight filled up the funnel, asking anyone to practice the politics of masses, remember sacrifice. Clear the aisle and make it hard to escape. There's good in the story and the song, and the ones who still stretch their necks to sing. That's kind of long, but that's my first poem. Thank you. This is called Reading Lot's Wife's Lips. All the rest covered with insatiable silks, backwards heat, vanquished thirst, times tables. The language of forgotten women, burnt into furrowed fingertips, carried in bags, borrowed by the cup from sad neighbor ladies. Sleeping pills, forced entries, suitcases kept packed for years. Opera records, tea kettles, sewing needles, warm milk all the better to find sleep with, count sacrificed sheep with. If this is refuge, she is saying, gaze fixed on the Dead Sea, hair blackened by breeze too heavy to deny. If this is the last time, let me look long enough to taste its salt as if it were my own skin. Story of immigration moving to a foreign country was when I moved from Seattle to New Orleans, and it really affected me and changed me. So I have a couple poems from there. I had the gut feeling I wouldn't be ready to head home, but your trees stopped stooping to touch me. The old spare bed lay empty in June, teacups empty on a dirty table. My elbows hurt like broken feathers. I never had the kind of bones that showed bright white on x-rays. So it took a long time to say goodbye. Blue kisses through open doorways. Now I sit chanting, slightly crazed by moonlight in another northern town. My mouth moves like it's trying to make notes, sing some messy blues, and I march in place on old floorboards. Remember the dreams full of hanging moss, raised spirits, cracked concrete voodoo mornings face down, and a humid hangover from a night of wild poems. We never asked what comes next or how much it would cost. The fires put themselves out. I had the premonition that the wind on the levee would do more than cancel our afternoon plans, tear down the pecan trees and leave us bored in your grandparents' house when they fled for higher ground. Your bartending friends forgot to send you home at night. The sirens grew loud, bright. At night, growling animals stalked the fence post, knowing I was foreign, no matter how much I wanted to belong to a city full of poison. My body loved to drink. And this is the last one. It's called A Hatchet in Her Hands. Joyce Woods. I can't forget that name, Joyce Wood. She kept telling me her name and the date it happened. She was walking in the highway at night when I saw her and stopped, picked her up sometime after 1 a.m., offered a ride to Joyce Woods walking down the center line of an underpass with her expensive church dresses and shoes and a plastic bag. And we drove, me and Joyce Woods, and she was shaking, barely dressed, bare brown shoulders and shifting eyes. The car is on empty and she needs something. Her daughter threw her out of the car on drugs, Joyce says, just went crazy and left me there with nothing but this bag of clothes. And I fill up the car with gas and Joyce is inside, but she won't come out and I'm so tired. Please, Joyce Woods, I'll drive you home, but we have to go now. And I gave her some crumpled dollar bills and her old hands pulled more from the plastic bag. Her daddy died, she told me. Her eyes glistened tears, and she bought some bottle of cheap liquor for his grave. Tomorrow is Father's Day, Joyce says, and I'm going to see my daddy. And she says he was murdered, and she tells me things I don't want to know. I'm leaving out the parts she won't stop saying. I was raped, she says. 1 month ago, he came in my house and he put a knife in my belly, and if I see that motherfucker again, I have a hatchet. I'll cut him up, that son of a bitch. Oh, I'm sorry, man. It's okay, I say, and she's hungry but decides to wait until morning, and I drive into a deserted neighborhood. My name is Joyce Woods, left here. It was the middle of the night, and he broke through the door, and he was in my room, and he raped me, young guy, 24, and I could tell he lifts up weights, strong arms, and he says, I've been watching you, Joyce Woods. And we pull up next to a small white shotgun house, and there's no electricity. But I have a hatchet, she says. I'm just going to see her on the porch till it gets light out, and I help her with her bag, and she smiles. She has deep, dark eyes. She is wise and weak, and she needs something, and she's hungry. So we go back to the drive-thru, and Joyce Woods spends her last dollar on a spicy chicken sandwich, and we're on the porch again, and she eats like an animal, mouthful and talking, and she moves her hands toward the basketball court. He must have been one of those guys that hangs out there, 'cause he said he's been watching me. And the house was swallowed by the ground, and I couldn't leave her like that. You have your hatchet, Joyce? Oh, it's inside. Do you think I should get it? Well, yes, I say, and there's a padlock on her door, and inside is incredibly dark, and I am full of fear. I can make out giant holes in the floor, loose boards, sink pulled out from the wall in the middle of what might pass for Joyce Wood's kitchen. And inside feels like a trap. I switch on my tiny kitchen flashlight, barely breathing. She squeezes her thick body between a gap, and there's her bedroom, and it is a trap. There's only one way in, and we are inside. We are trapped if anyone comes. I'm trembling. Her bed is there in the corner. This is where it happened, she says. He threw me down on that bed and put my leg up on his shoulder. I told the police, but they didn't find him yet. He came in right through this door. Now I nailed it up. Where's the hatchet? I ask, shining my feeble flashlight around in the dark, and suddenly she remembers it's on top of the fridge, and I reach, and there it is, small and rusty, not the best weapon for an old black woman sitting on her porch in the middle of the night, and she keeps talking. I think we should get out of here, I say, and we do, and she locks the padlock, and Joyce Woods sits down in her chair with her hatchet there beside her, a bag of expensive clothes and shoes, barely dressed, thick arms, humid New Orleans summer, clinging, and a bottle of liquor for her daddy. Tomorrow's Father's Day. My name is Joyce Woods and I'll be fine, she says. And I know I can't leave her here like this. I know I should do something, but there's a babysitter and I'm late and the kids are all sleeping and I have that big empty bed to go home to, and I tell her I'll come back to check on her. And I get in my car and I drive away and I can't look back. I never go back. But I can't forget her eyes. I can't forget Joyce Woods. Thank you.
Some tell, Eric. Oh, take a deep breath. Thank you. The hatchet, got that in my head. Okay. Ah. Well, next is I.S. Jones. I.S. Jones was gonna read live and be in person here tonight, but she couldn't make it, so she's gonna read on Zoom. I.S. Jones is the author of Blood Mercy, chosen by Nicole Seeley as the winner of the 2025 APR Uncommanded First Book Prize and the chapbook Spells of My Name, selected found in 2021 for their emerging writing series. So introducing I.S.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah, where are you now? You're out in the car?
Oh, no, I'm not in the car. I decided to be somewhere stable now.
Okay.
This poem is titled Land of Nod as Nigeria. In the beginning, we carried our faith and practices from the first world to the new. And so we called ourselves Celestians, each follower a lit match of the Holy Spirit. When it comes to us, Baba, we are pinned beneath fear and need. Love, as you would call it. It is in heaven as it is with us Celestians. What does death mean in paradise? Once I returned to Nigeria and nearly died of liver failure. Once I governed a kingdom on a leash. Lord, the home I once loved is gone. I tell this to my daughters when they ask, where is your Nigeria? Not death, but the symbolism behind slaughter. Wandering land, valley slumbers east, for the faithful left home to give their offspring a future unmoored by loss. Okay, cool. All right, wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone.
Is that your finish, I.S.? Can you read some more?
Yes.
You have it? Do you need some time? Right now, we just have your screen. Did we lose you? Yes. Not see you, I.S.
Mark, and she
Yeah?
girls,
Huh?
and she girls.
I can't hear you.
No. If we say something, and she girls.
Yeah, can you hear us, I.S.?
You look fabulous.
IS had I think we got disconnected
Oh.
from IS.
Oh,
I think she lost internet connection.
okay, I'm sorry to hear.
Mark, I just wanted to say I.S. look fabulous.
Yeah,
Yes, it's just a compliment.
that's okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Well, I guess we'll have to move on to Linda Morales Caballero. Or maybe, I will come back if we have a chance. Linda is an award-winning author, journalist, educator. She's author of 8 poetry books. Enigmas, several of her stories have been adopted, and award-winning short film, plays, and monologues in Madrid and in New York. This year, alongside actor Edu Diaz, she won the Hispanic Federation Award participant in the Poesa Festival for her monologue, Labial. And so,
Hello, and thank you so much, Mark. It's not been easy these last few days. I was informing you about some um, medical issues I had, and one of the problems was that I had surgery in my neck, and my voice is not the same right now. I hope it gets better. So I'm going to try to do what I normally do, but bear with me, please. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be my natural voice for this, but I'll try. I know you asked for poetry about immigration. What I have brought today is not exactly about immigration. I immigrated many times during my life. I was born originally in Peru, but I lived in many places, one of them Argentina, New York. Um, and obviously it's a topic that touches me, I think, so much that I cannot work with it yet. Even though I have worked in the past, but what I had was not poetry. So I also wanted to say that I've always been working to break the stereotypes. So I'm going to read something that has to do with these days and something that has to do with breaking stereotypes, I guess. The next poem is called To the Displaced. And obviously it has to do with what we are seeing around the world. Not only in one country, unfortunately, but more than one, several. And the introduction I have is by Vinicius G. Moraes. He's from Brazil, or he was from Brazil. You may remember The Girl from Ipanema. That's one of his most famous songs. But he had a poem, because he was also a poet, called The Rose from Hiroshima. And he wrote it trying to remind people that we should not repeat the tragedy of Hiroshima, the tragedy of Second World War. And I'll read you what I'm going to use as an introduction in Portuguese, which is the original. I'll read it to you in English. The Rose of Hiroshima. Think of the children, telepathic and mute. Think of the girls, blind, inexact. Think of the women, altered and broken. Think of the wounds, like warm roses. And then my poem with the introduction. Let me try it. Because this was put to music by Gershog Conrad. Pensem nas crianças mudas, telepáticas. Pensem nas meninas cegas, inexatas. Pensem nas mulheres rotas, alteradas. Pensem nas feridas como rosas cálidas. And now my poem. What hope does this dust of the abyss holds as it envelopes eclipse moons? Those who are still asleep, wake up. But where can we flee, sweating this drunken nightmare? Through rusty streets, zombies wander, devastated plains. They arrive by inertia at currents, coasts. Headlines scream knives, right pastiches, tabloid headlines, with every day's blood turned into delirium from the inhabitants that used to have lives. Just a chilly lab rests where purple children lay, tattooing candles in the darkened air. Because, I'm sorry, that comes from this book. And because I was talking about breaking stereotypes, I'm going to read from The Threshold. This book is my most recent one in English, but it was written many years ago. And I have a poem dedicated to Maestro Lucha Neves. He is from Peru, and he broke all stereotypes. And he also did something very innovative. He mixed Peruvian music with jazz. So this poem is dedicated to him. It's called Jazz in Amazonas. 1. Turbid candles evaporated in incandescence in crystalline bursts. Sizzling sound burning in the gloom, exotic aroma, polluted heartbeats, fluttering hope of blushing tomorrows. 2. Today everything is a mirage in which I soak whole, a dream within a dream, an inquiry, a sleepwalking feeling, a white albatross dream of iron tablecloths. And now what I had ready was something completely different from Poemas Vivos, which is not to stay in today's days that are very dark. This is about a crazy love story. So it will give us a little different moment. Eve. It was a lunar night, populated by aquatic beings. We swam against the current, tied by our hands, submerging ourselves in the bar, among mermaids, inside the night, among drunks, deep in time, in the craters of the props of midnight. By the waves of sights, I saw you passing through all perspectives at once. From my end, I saw you from inside. And as that, I loved you, but you confabulated until a dragon belched through my mouth, the fire of a visceral unknown rage. My green desolation under the Manhattan plains pierced you from my pupils. I wished to undo you, and I did it. Suddenly, you turned into hair, saliva, a diluted smile, a distorted image, the picture of the frightful number. The night ran like a river to drain its tentacles in the sea of the subconscious, to reveal to you that your icons live in the hippocampus of my lost eyes. You fear so much of so much in me that your madness turned into scarecrow for children, a game of chimney sweepers, the organ grinder of the shadowed corner, a life of invented nightmares. The truth of my mysteries was an overdose, unmanageable for your biography, made of borrowed moments of graffiti, short-lived loves, short-lived tastes, made from objects placed in predetermined spaces, within the frontiers of your fables, paid in good currency. Under the light of your torches, under the guidance of your scripts, I walked away from your premonitions with a role of my own, because I am neither an object nor an invented nightmare. I am the purest of colors, incarnated pain, truthful laugh, the one who is not for sale, the messenger of what you so much evade. And to finish from the same book, Living Poems, The Visit. To look at you has been like seeing you and seeing me in a mirror. Your ironed out forehead of a modern Martian has left me with serious doubts about reality. To receive your kiss on my hand, to kiss you back on the cheek, seemed anthropological rituals of a species last extinct, long extinct. You swapped your landscape for mine. You offer me, in your intoxicating coffee, the arrogant bacteria of your laughter. Everything by your side is magical, unreal, playful. Even I, submerged in my black dress, feel adhered to your tongue like a stamp. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Can you adjust the screen, when you have to leave for a second? And thank you, that was wonderful. I love Joe Beam also, Tom Joe Beam, hero. Our next reader, thank you for coming and for sharing that. Next reader is Ellen Thea. Ellen Thea MS is a internationally recognized award-winning performance poet and has been pioneering integrative healing arts. Her life's journey has taken her from New York City to South Florida to Warren, Alaska. The book, On My Way to the Apocalypse, non-linear 55-page prose poem, was published by Dangaroo Press in 2012. And you can find her as a Wizard Woman 333 in Trinidad. Wizard Woman Ellen, hi.
Hi, thank you for having me here. And I am in Alaska, 60 miles from Denali. Hello. Anyway, I have a few pieces and I wrote something that I finished actually Tuesday, specifically for tonight. But here's some old stuff. And first of all, thank you, because you guys be some good stuff. You be catnip. You be my carrot on a stick. You be pretty pleases with whipped cream and sugar on it and cherry on top. You be M&Ms. You be Ghirardelli and Godiva chocolates best served naked. You be long stem dozen roses. You be Baskin Robbins, all 31 flavors, Haagen-Dazs, Ben & Jerry, Carvel, and Dove with hot fudge and butterscotch. You be the Wowie in Maui. You be first morning cup of coffee. You be my morning thunder, baby. You be blue lotuses and black pearls. You be Kundalini rising. You be Kundalini peaking. You be the Swiss cheese at the end of my maze. You be this bitch's favorite biscuit. You be Pooh's honey and Tigger's bounce. You be Dom Perignon, filet mignon, and Cherry's jubilee. Oh man, you be some good stuff. My next piece is appropriate to the month. This is Blue Moon Halloween. At midnight, by the river, she put on her wild shoes to journey forth. She, disguised as a declaration of her true self, this Blue Moon Halloween, gifted sometimes, once upon a lifetime. Her doorway is her shrine. Moonstone gold and crystal wand incandesces her body's flame. Dancing trees to whisper secrets through the night breeze. Her ears decipher the song. She feels sky-clad, an ancient wind, tendrilled wind, wilds her hair. Riding her broomstick of lunar kundalini, Queen Wisdom speaks, keeper of the blue fire, guard your hearth well. The silent guardian meditates at the gate. This is the invisible woman. The invisible woman screams, her mouth a perfect circle, her essence slipping through as she cries through the veil, her tits made long from nurturing the world. She comes again and again on your kitchen counter. No penetration, no messiness. She'll clean up any mess you make anyway. She slips and slides through, though sometimes as she cries, others hear a vague sound on the wind, moans, an occasional wail. There a glimpse of movement out of the corner of the eyes, but it's nothing, just the wind, a false alarm. She exhales all her energy. I am solid. I am real. I am not a transparent mirror. She whiskers in and out like a ghost in the remote. This next piece I wrote, oh, I do have to say, it is old. It's about 45 years ago. And this is what you can do without ChatGPT and generative AI. This is Janice. Hey! Full tilt boogie, spotlight moon, a pearl, exquisite, dangerously choreographed passion. Big Brother and company held you long enough through summertime anyway, when it became time to move over. Did you get it? Did you get it? Got it, hold it, want it, need it while you could. Are we getting it, holding it, wanting it, needing it while we can? While we can, because as we discover on the train tomorrow, it's all the same fucking day, man. Tell me, sister, tell me, do you really only gain your freedom when you got nothing left to lose, or is it after you've given away all little pieces of your heart and you're buried alive in them old cosmic blues ball and chain? Oh, hush, baby, baby. Don't you cry, baby. Don't you cry, baby. Bye-bye, baby. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, baby. Bye-bye. And finally, thank you so much for your indulgence, because this is my last piece. And this is the one that I wrote on Tuesday about immigration. And yeah, you know, I could have written something very, very serious, but this seems to be what came out and wanted to be said tonight. So here it is, a debut brand new poem. Title is We All Come From Somewhere. Me? The secret's in my name. The cosmic nurturer, mom and dad, that is the one divine parent, encourages me to phone home, to call often, though the area code is supernaturally and extravagantly long distance, no longer even on the same galactic plane or dimension, the white light black hole, the center of all in all. We all come from somewhere. We exist in diaspora, exile, from the moment we slid down the long ladder, far from home, wherever a spark of divine dust, holy water, and a gift of sacred breath, unseen, unsmelled, holy, holy, invisible, indivisible. We exist like air in water, a fish out yet always wet, unaware of its existence in a saturated environment. All so-called indigenous, and I say so-called because each tribe everywhere, no matter identification, has a story they call the truth of how they came to be here in this space-time continuum at this moment. And everywhere the same story of how us, the people, are the only people like no other. All those other people are the other, invading our exile. But whoever, whatever, we began it all. We are all nomads, wanderers, wayfarers, carrying our tabernacles into and throughout the wilderness. We may think it's the greener grass syndrome, or brave new worlds, or to tread where no one has gone before, footprints in the sand, washed away by waves, the illusion of only one, aloneness, that we are unseen, unaccompanied, save for but possible guidance from a potential internal homing instinct, more better than salmon, bats, pigeons, whales, spiders, an instinct attuned to the beginning source of all in all, which is not here. Here is the illusion of somewhere, but nowhere, and not our home. Is it immigration of ascent from land to air that the caterpillar wonders about the butterfly migrating? We all come from somewhere. Where, I do not know. I only know that cosmic mama and cosmic papa continue to urge me, encourage me to phone home, phone often. I can even reverse the charges. Someone else has already paid the price for this connection. We all come from somewhere. Me? I'm a resident alien. The secret's in my name, but I'll never tell. Thank you so much. I have one last thought to leave you with. This is Schrodinger's cat. He's a sly one, he is, the best there is. Or isn't. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh. That's it. You all come from someplace. Indeed. Thank you. What's up? All right.
Thank
Oh, we go live now. Next speaker is Elizabeth. There we go. We're live to, you think it's okay. A Chicago native, Elizabeth Rico's poetry has appeared in over 25 print anthologies, including Riders of the Storm with Revolutionary Poetry Grade, and the forthcoming Depose, an anthology of working class solidarity. A Pushcart Prize nominee, an educator, actor, and our hybrid collection. I sound. Followed the chef's degree and ceremonies during your university, during your BA from our college, you spent a year at Oxford University, which led to the writers program at the University of Illinois, Chicago for an MA in English. She's a member of the Circulo de Poetas and Writers, and as the 12 Grass Writers. Welcome.
Thank you, Mara. Keep thinking immigration. I think of immigration, I think of all the times we wrote about place, all the times we write about belonging, and all the people that question our place and our belonging. I thank you all for staying with us here tonight. All the individual journeys that got you here tonight. All the journeys that have you here via Zoom. Thank you. This first piece was originally published in Ghana as part of an anthology called The Muse of Peace. It's been reprinted in Maplaga and a number of other places. Asylum. Another sleepless night, and my remote takes me to Charlie and his blue plastic boat, shared at St. Vincent Orphan Asylum in Chicago. His hair was wondrously full, and he made my belly laugh as we waited and drifted. The dormitory cribs were far different from the blue vinyl mats on the concrete floor of the woman's shelter in the woman's wing of the shelter. Each places of shelter in transit and end time at any time. And I see these pictures of children stacked up like cordwood, relatively safe in Texas detention centers, compared to the Pakistani children stacked up like cordwood in ox carts after a drone attack. It is difficult to shut off the images on the screen of the mind's eye. The browser sticks and keeps refreshing itself. In the morning, I just go out the door and decide to be alive. A man walked into our L car, a stocky man with salt and pepper brush cut, walked into our L car yesterday from carrying an anonymous mask and wearing false sheriff stars. I was reading a new book about Latinas, the media, and citizenship. He entered the space where the doors opened and held up a battered tablet after slowly putting on his mask. Great, socially conscious, engaged performance artists are the new mimes. He started circling. and taking pictures of the passengers, and then sat down directly opposite me. I firmly told him to stop taking any pictures without permission. I was a member of SAG-AFTRA and held up my newly paid up membership card and added that he did not have my permission, that I had rights. He started screaming at me. I asked if he had a problem with immigrants. He continued to scream and shouted from behind his mask that I needed to go back to wherever I came from, that he was a real American. I blandly said I was born here in Chicago. No, you're not. I refrained from offering this loud mime, an American history nugget that folks who looked like me all became citizens in 1917. Forgot about the 14th Amendment at the time. That was He still kept screaming, but now was also texting furiously. He grunted that I was fairly photogenic. The guy sitting next to me just had a half smile and continued his Candy Crush game, occasionally looking up at the masked man. As I rose to exit, I calmly called Anonymous a privileged, entitled prick. And then there's the question that comes up over and over again, and these are United States shores and elsewhere. When I lived in the UK, they kept asking if I was Canadian. Where are you from? I am a poet from Chicago. If music can be carried place to place and one constantly moves, it's hard to hold what's needed. Objects drop from my hand. I am from the Americas. You say you have people here. Home to home, each time something is lost and almost replaced, a drumbeat continues. Things held up and gathered to the bosom slip through fingers as you set down objects. Everything does fall away, in spite of holding tight and a long reach. Music can be carried place to place. A melody holding a footfall, a half-remembered lyric reasserts itself differently each time. Learn to mix a dolo at home. A drumbeat continues. You say you have people here. Music can be carried place to place. Yellow shock of forsythia bush erupts in front of the red brick true plant. A cobblestone stamped Illinois brick under your feet. I am from the Americas. Music can be carried place to place, a last full blossom on the peony bush, a blink of spring, the shock of stillness at the edge of eternity, that carousel turning, called a revolution, the lost musical cake server. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. That was very engaging as well. So many great poems here tonight. It's just so many different types of poetry we're listening to tonight too. It's just a great event to be hosting. And thank you all for hanging in there. We have three more poems left. Viola Lee is coming up next, and then we have a couple on Zoom. Viola Lee graduated from NYU with an MFA in poetry. She has been published in poems in Barrow Street, Bellevue Literary Review, Mississippi Review, and another Chicago, that's called another Chicago magazine. She was finalist in the Pleiades Proof for Poetry Prize in 2022, Mississippi River Poetry Prize. Only Home was finalist in the 2023 Switchbook Books Gateway Prize, semi-finalist in 2023 Perusia Press Poetry Prize, and finalist in 2024 X.J. Kennedy Book Prizes. Kennedy Poetry Prize. Home in Chicago with her husband, son, and daughter. She teaches 4th to 6th grade in Montessori School. Well,
Let's stand right here.
sure. And Zoom.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you so much for hosting this lovely event. Also looking at the bio sheets, it's really incredible how worldly, like international cities everywhere. So thank you so much for hosting. And thank you all for being here. I'm gonna try to stay awake. And it's been I'm sure everyone knows that it's been a really long day. And so looking forward to this weekend. I wanted to thank Mark, and I also wanted to thank Afterwords Bookstore. Really amazing festival. This is actually my second time reading. And I am really grateful also to all the contributors, to all the readers, and to all of you, the listeners. Okay, so I'm going to read a couple of poems. And the first poem, it's actually not a poem, it is a quote from Walt Whitman. Because I feel like all that is happening in the world right now, I go back to this quote often because it makes me also, it rekindles my love and belief in humanity. So here we go. Walt Whitman. This is what you shall do. Love the earth. Sorry, I can't see. Okay. This is what you shall do. Love the earth and sun and the animals. Despise riches. Give alms to everyone that asks. Stand up for the stupid and crazy. Devote your income and labor to others. Hate tyrants, arguing not concerning God. Have patience and indulgence for the people. Take off your hat to nothing known or unknown, or to any man or number of men. Go freely with powerful, uneducated persons, and with the young, and with the mothers of families. Read these leaves in the open air, every season of every year of your life. Re-examine all you have been told at school or at church or in any book. Dismiss whatever insults your own soul, and your very flesh shall be a great poem, and have the richest fluency, not only in its words, but in the silent lines of its lips and face, and between the lashes of your eyes, and in every motion and joint of your body. Walt Whitman. Okay, the next, I'm gonna read actually 3 poems. And just to give a little warning, this first poem actually is regarding grief. And this was written many years ago. It was published in another Chicago magazine. And this is about grief and family and loss. And this poem, I am actually Korean American. My parents were both Korean, immigrated to Chicago. And so this poem is a reflection about family and grief and love and loss. It's about many things. Maybe it's just a love poem. Yes, this is a love poem. Okay, and it's called Kimchi. Whenever we hear of another death in the family, my mother will often bury herself in the basement, immersing her body into hours and hours of kimchi making. Squatting with big earthen jars and large silver aluminum bowls. I remember using one of them to bathe my son when he was first born. My mother layers the Napa cabbage, covers in a blanket of light green and white scallions, shutting the folds of the cabbage in rhizome of ginger tucking in bulbs of Allium Sadaban, then flavoring in a disaccharide of glucose sugar and dried red pepper flakes. How often I see those red peppers, the color of blood, sun drying on a blanket while walking around my father's village, a tobacco farm, and that tiny living space attached. We often wondered how so many family members could share a room together, sleeping on a floor out of necessity. What is healing for my mother is making this even saltier. She uses some form of fish, or those tiny, minuscule pink salted shrimp. When her brother died, I was 10. He was the uncle I would read about only in photographs. I remember watching her from the window of the basement door, the forceful motion into layering the pepper onto the leaves of the Napa cabbage, a metal bowl singing from the movement and pressure, all the energy and force to move a body when it's grieving. Intentionally, she cut, diced, slivered, a weight growing and growing when folding something onto itself. Last year, after my cousin's death, my mother and her sister-in-law made kimchi out of pounds and pounds of joshi and radish, burying themselves in the work, burying themselves in sustaining their family. Never once did they speak of the mental illness continually being buried in the bodies of family members. Never once did they speak of the healing properties of the spice, the pepper, or the garlic. Instead, they just move along the way my mother moves along after hearing of each death, the way the bodies of the dead move along to their new form, the way that everything that is made by hand moves along, changes in form, changes in body, the way that this fermented spice, pepper, and garlic moves along, mouth, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, moving through the body, moving without sound, moving, the way the air moves while the house is soundless with sleep. The way the cold leaves and the wind move on the roof of the warm house, the way thoughts and images move, becoming stronger after each passing. Okay, thank you. I'm going to read just two more love poems. These are all love poems. This poem is actually a poem. I'm just going to read it. Okay, it's called Cleaning the Floor. My son and I are cleaning the floor. Oh, by the way, in this poem, my son is maybe 8. And so many years have passed. He's actually 14 now. Cleaning the floor. My son and I are cleaning the floor because he has spilled rice cereal again. Oh God, breathe. My son asks, what's the difference between a job and work? I tell him that one has 3 letters and the other has 4. He replies, no, really. I explain, a job is something you do to earn a living wage in the world. But work is what we do to satisfy our needs and wants, our purpose, our meaning. And meaning is how we feel worthy of ourselves. My son then asks, am I a job or am I work? I reply, what we have to do together right now is clean this floor. Here is a bowl of vinegar and water. This is what we call working together. You are good. You are good. Oh God of wealth. Oh God of work. Remind me that our bodies are worthy. Our brief and beautiful bodies are worthy. Oh, remind me that to live in this house, which feels like the world, I must love. This is my work. There is only this. There is nothing more. Thank you. Okay, and then this last poem, that previous poem, Cleaning the Floor, was also just recently published in an anthology all about jobs and work. And this next poem was published in anthology called Braving the Body, and it's all about poems about the body. And so this poem is a love poem, and it's called Mixtape. Oh, by the way, I also gave a lesson to my children about what is a mixtape. And back in the day, before there was a Spotify and making a playlist, we would actually have to wait on the radio and wait to, press until the song came on the radio, and then we would press record and play at once. And it was a very physical act. And so this poem is maybe not only in response to that, but maybe it's the love of maybe the past. So this is called Mixtape. You made it the summer you left home. It seems irrelevant now since you can't seem to find a working tape player. The ones in the thrift stores are picked over again, and in the antique stores, all of them are too vintage. But how you remember hearing those songs, or probably making one in return to sustain a memory. Something those songs do to the body whenever you hear them. You never really can forget once they've been memorized, how they live in the body and become concrete, how they waken each cell and become a truth you protect. It is human to want to keep something. It is human when a body knows and cannot let go. Thank you.
Combination of good food and photos. That's wonderful. Well, I have three more poets, myself included. All on next year on Zoom. We have Ike Walsh, very unique biography. He enjoyed a two-fold career as a ballet dancer and as a US-based international electronics industry consultant. Since lived here since 1997. He studied fine art and industrial design at the Royal College of Art in London. And after the events of 9/11, began to write a poem about what he saw. He lives in Santa Cruz, California, has published 14 books. And if you visit his website, you'll see not only his poetry, but a huge collection of his sculpture, which is quite unique as well. And so, Ike Waltz, thank you for hanging in there, everybody, and thank you, Ike, for waiting as well.
My background is a painting by my wife, Sheila. It's an Israeli mother crying for a dead Palestinian child. The immigrant that never dies. Where are you from? But where is I am from? Like all of us, we are immigrants. Yes, we all had a dream, but few of us are protected inside that white picket fence. For how long? We don't know. There is an immigrant in all of us. He walks, he eats, he works, he greets, he talks to all of us. He sleeps inside the universe next to you in the closet and under every bed. We all pray, we all are made of blood. The why, where, when, and what diversity in the image of God. I thank you a lot. There is an immigrant in all of us. He loves, he hates, he forgives. Good days, bad days, sad days, happy days, all divided equally between the all of us. Rain, sunshine, rainbow, full moon, the seasons end in snow, all shared with the all of us, a gift from God. Yes, I thank you a lot. There's an immigrant in all of us. I picked a local flower that smells of destiny. All is new to me. I compare what I bear, but nobody wants to share. So I forget the past. But my heart, my soul refuses me. I build my island I call melancholy and invite immigrants to reminisce in fantasy. Muss i denn zum Städtele hinaus, Städtele hinaus, nur du, mein Schatz, bleibst hier. wenn ich komm, wenn ich wieder komm, kehr ich ein, mein Schatz, bei dir. Must I then leave my town, must I then? And you, my dearest, stayest at home? When I am back, when I come back, when I finally return, I'll come straight to thee, I swear. The sound of a song from where I came rekindles longing, since I can't go back. I start singing memories so hard to please. Tears dry quickly but never fade away. I'm at ease when I look at all of you. Faces become familiar. Time teaches. Thank you that you welcomed me. I am good. I'm fine. Thank you. I am the immigrant who will never forget history's bitter price. Meeting you is the future for the equal in the all of us. After all, time is neutral. Time is merely standing by. Time was the guide to history. Time will guide the future by default. May we all enjoy the fruits of the right course. And I wish you all having a wonderful time. Son of a gun. I admit I immigrated to America to make money. Build a house, sit in it, open the window, look at the Pacific, enjoying whales, birds, and bees. Yes, I let my cat respond to the knock on my door. Knock, knock, who's there? And my cat says each time, meow. Only to realize the profound American love for legalized corruption, often mistaken for freedom, as so patriotically proclaimed. And then I was lucky to listen to Mahalia Jackson sing the traditional American spiritual, "He's got the whole world in his hands." Not only being captivated by the simplicity of its magic words or being fascinated by her innate musicality, but being deeply touched by the genuine tears escaping her eyes. With tears in my eyes, once I became an American. So let me repeat. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got my brothers and my sisters in his hands. He's got all mothers and fathers in his hands. And then he's got a gun in his hand. He's got a mean gun in his hand. He's got a gun in his hand. He's had a bad, bad day and teach the world. He shot a brother in the head. He shot his big brother in the head. He shot a sister in the back. He shot his sweet little sister in the back. He shot a mother in her bed. He shot them all in cold blood dead. He's got an angry gun on his mind. He's got an angry gun in his ears. He's got an angry gun up his nose. He's got an angry gun in his mouth. He's got a target in his mean eyes. He's got a target in his cold sight. And then let us not forget the mean gunner, a misguided Magasan, misguided by legalized corruption, misguided by an outdated Second Amendment only constitutional lawyers comprehend, misguided by a perverse interpretation of freedom, misguided by misguided shareholders. As long as killing machines turn a profit, we just don't care. Misguided by a misguided system that promotes the right to kill my world. Yes, he's got a gun in his hand. He's had a mean gun till his end. And then he had the whole world in one hand. the same hand that pulled that trigger till his end, the same hand that dropped that blooded gun. What an end! And all the silver bullets in his defense do not help, do not understand. He's got no flowers on his grave, he's got no tears that forgave, and all that automatic gun did not make him that exceptional, free, brave American man. Yes, he's had a violent gun, one of the best, and I have a painful knot in my chest. And then he's had the whole world in his hands. He's had my whole world in his hands. Thank you.
All of it's wonderful poetry. Thank you. And that poem was on your website too. I caught my eyes. Really fine poem. Thank you very much. Okay, our next poet. Elemental. Elemental. Elemental is a revolutionary poet weaving history and social justice into unforgettable performance. Known as the ink alchemist, he channels the spirit of an ink renegade, bold, unflinching, and unapologetic. His work bridges classrooms and stages, fuses teaching, truth-telling, and art to a feeble force. He amplifies stories that refuse silence. Every poem is both a weapon and a healing, crafted for those who listen between the lines. Many of us in the Zoom world know him as one of the hosts of famous New York Poetry Cafe in New York. He's had many electrifying and award-winning performances, and it made him a little bit of a legend in the spoken word world. And welcome, Elemental. Thanks for hanging in there.
Peace, peace, and blessings to all the artists who came before me and after. Thank you for making this evening spectacular. I appreciate all of you for just making the inaugural Chicago Poetry Festival something that it will truly become, just something much more, right? Shout out to PGN, all of its incredible members. Listen, we all have work to do to help move poetry forward. Shout out to Mark Fishbein for inviting me. I can't thank you enough, sir. Shout out Lacan. Shout out the daughter of Krypton, Finn Bell. To all of my contemporaries, you are all amazing. I have learned so much this evening from all of you. I can't thank you enough for your energy, for your tenacity, and your dedication to our craft. I have a few things. Shout out to the paint slingers in the building. This is absolutely brand new. So I'll hit you with 3 haiku, and then I'll hit you with the poem that I crafted this evening. The moment that I saw immigration, inspiration and I have a thing going on. So we went in an interesting way. So 3 haiku, and then the poem. Immigration is ice cold courage on display. It's called bigotry. Second haiku. When it comes to food, nothing is really made here. It's shipped to order. Third haiku. Without immigrants, America would just be a tasteless nation. So this poem, again, just finished today. Shout out to Paint Slingers in the building. This is The Outsiders. Have you ever noticed how shades of immigration create phases of indignation even dictionaries can't define with any clarity? I heard a foreigner say, "You're as cold as ice, willing to sacrifice our love." But what's love got to do with laborious glory to history's piety or prayers to a savior sacrifice served up on collection plates every bloody Sunday? Call it St. Valentine's pastime funny. How a moon hits your eye, that's amore. One DiMaggio swing away from home. Call it a godfather's wish granted on his daughter's birthday he can't deny. Walking through a golden door to bring new wars to utopia turned a Mario Puzo war in streets behind reality's nice to meet you, wearing a gangster's vest, stress close to vest that moonlights as stories, a mafia's Montessori where Capone clones are born. Tell me, what's the Scorsese of a Gambino's Luciano on a lucky streak at a casino where Goodfellas play a Trump's cards wet dream of a jackpot sitting next to a tall glass of limoncello sipping Chef Boyardee's secret recipe for ravioli? So departed from a Coppola's orchestra playing a Puccini's Madame Butterfly without wings, make standing ovations revelations to this is art that speaks to broken hearts. Don't mind this language, it wasn't meant for you anyway. Or maybe German tourniquet that made Reich left white a weapon. Terror on all things, your skin ain't bright enough to be American. Birth of a nation of hatred, just a Hail Hitler Stalin for time. Till a census made everyone colorblind, took a Nazi, made him Giovanni. Now no one knows just how concentration camps out in plain sight became a reenactment. Call it blockbuster, a genius, schemist, Jesus. Believe us when we say it's naked violence on display. Call it entertainment for narcissists carving come to America on burnt bodies only from selected countries. You see, these armies discriminate with extreme prejudice. You see, we only like we. You see, this is our country, 'tis of thee. Funny. I've seen presidential pardons for poplar trees just to keep fresh squeezed strange fruit juice in an optimal range on a who gives a damn stock exchange, trading shares of McDonaldized cultures as you really thought. Cowboys, coleslaw, french fries, the fried chicken, birth control, burgers, the batteries were actually American. Please, for every Taco Tuesday you say came from an enchiladas cultural fusion of colonist to colonizer, make you hungry for flesh-colored control. Call it war on poor countries. A tyrant's triumphs spelled out in curriculums, corrosive, cursive that curses people, cashing in on this land is your land, this land is my land contract, whose disclaimer read, here lies rights to be treated equal, written in this world is ours, colored ink stains. That lists ICE as reference to a border czar's you're not welcome here. Take a number. Get in line. Maybe we'll see you next lifetime. Peace, y'all.
And you know, thank you for your presence, man. Always appreciate it. Too good. Thank you, man. Okay. Well, this hour, I think I'll close it up. I have a couple of poems for you guys as well. And I want to thank everybody, all these just amazing poets that, and all the different styles and all the, wow, it's a kind of great stuff today. I'm going to start off with a poem about Chicago, and then I'll read an immigration poem. I put out this book this year. It just took a bunch of billboards from Chicago and wrote a Nebraska poem about them. And this was what I wrote, and I show you I do love Chicago. This is what I wrote when I first kind of got here. There's a billboard not too far from here on Ohio Street that shows the temperature of the time. And this was a picture. See it here. See it there. And basically, it's a billboard just says -5 degrees, and the time is 1:14. And there's a bunch of snow happening in it. And so the name of the poem is -5 at 1:14. In -5 degree gray, the lake fades on crooked lines on the horizon. Air is thick in waterfalls of ice. Streets are Ironside. Sidewalks are freezer zones. There are no shadows from the street lamps lining avenues like witches' brooms as the snow looks like shot from splatter guns, and the sky is semi-gloss sheetrock white above silhouettes of an old bottle shop with facades of metal motherboards. I see my reflection in a storefront bundled in layers of scarves with two ridiculous hats and earmuffs, a ghost breathing like a chimney. Winter in Chicago is a bitch. Even penguins avoid this fucking icebox. And it's fighting winds at highest pitch. This is my home now. I tried to write a different poem, and it came out like this. Very often we poets go to write a poem and have a theme in mind, and when we end up writing, it's totally different than what we had started with. This one has the word soma in it, which many of you remember is the drug that was used to break the world, to pacify the world, like that. So when you immigrant, we will sit by colorful screens, soma in our days, with devotion to the sex dolls that please us, which we turn off and on like a toaster, as robots deliver meat for the microwave. No need to enslave you with paltry wages, stomping crates to fill our glasses. Machines will do landscaping, clean toilets, drive the shoebox taxi cars, go apple picking. Do not stray from where you were born. The age of migrations is no more. Accept fate. We are rich and you poor. The techno rapture may yet reach your door. So kudos to you, to your hands in the soil. We will keep ours immaculate and unspoiled. Parallels. Step gently on this earth as if your legs were wings. The forest birds will notice you have changed and honor with song the many years you carried the atrocities that living bears witness to. Feel the tenderness of the path with threadbare souls, absorb its aroma of redemption. All the living green boughs as you pass with a whisper, waiting your moment of disappearing like a footprint. Stride to the wind which thrills you. It is the earth breathing to a place between hope and despair. These little things still have meaning because you must believe in something. My friend, walk softly on this miraculous ground of time and place, this trail in the shade of pillared trees that have no end. My contribution to the ice situation here, over the brown shirts in Chicago, brown shirts, of course, referring to the Gestapo. They roam in ice packs, wolf eyes that feast on fear, their Arctic hearts howl at fate. We live now in a country where people disappear. Icemen are from the mold of Cossacks my grandparents fled from, a sadist cult in power to victimize, to beat. They hunt among us, unleashed, dispose of all who don't speak our speak. Pray as we pray, praise the MAGA flag. Hourly they come masked and swift with bulky vests and sweaty arms, roping victims like cattle to a slaughterhouse. They take neighbors with $10 gardens, are our doctors, friends from schools or churches, families here for decades who fled bloodbaths from drug lords or medieval rulers. They take war veterans, take children. Kind of tyrants of the human rage, they pillage our heritage and wear our land. I see the Iceman from my window. He comes to my street, doing the POTUS work, he says, to cleanse the land. We live now in a country where people disappear. It's called These Times, and has a little epigraph. A single death is a tragedy, a million deaths is a statistic, said by Stalin, was he would know. No matter the saddest music, I cover my face in my hands. Fresh murders displayed, craters in the ground, the missiles strike faster than the sound. Children in shock, amputated limbs, body bags, bones and burnt skin. No matter how numb the chatter, the stench of genocide hovers in ruins, no matter the cameraman's portrayal of the blind drones and blasts of flame, no matter hours pass in solitude weighing this combination of words that I can only touch you with. You have seen what I have seen. How does one exist in a cell of sudden death? No matter. By the pen we survive, with its battle cry for compassion. Enraged, I take to this writing until the madness ends, held hostage to the horror of these times. Yeah. And ends our program for tonight. We do have an open mic reader. Would you like to read tonight? Absolutely.